There is a version of you that has already died, not in some distant future, not in some hypothetical scenario. Right now, in this very moment, there exists a parallel expression of your consciousness that has already crossed the threshold you call death. It has already released the body. It has already moved beyond the veil. And it is looking back at this moment, at this exact breath you are taking right now, with a knowing so vast, so complete, so saturated with understanding that if you could feel even a fraction of it, everything about the way you are living would change instantly. Let that land for a moment. You have been told that death is the end, or perhaps you have been told it is a doorway. But what if it is neither? What if death is not something that happens to you in the future at all? What if it is something that is happening right now, in another layer of reality, and the consciousness that has already passed through it is not separate from you? It is you, a parallel you, an expression of the same infinite awareness wearing a slightly different story, walking a slightly different timeline. And it has already arrived at the place you are most afraid to go. And here is what no one tells you. It is not afraid. It is not suffering. It is not lost in some void. It is awake. More awake than you have ever been in this body. And the information it holds, the perspective it carries, is not locked away from you. It is available. Right now. In this breath, in this field of awareness that you think belongs only to this one version of your life. This is not fantasy. This is not wishful thinking dressed up in spiritual language. This is what happens when you take quantum mechanics seriously, when you follow the mathematics to their logical conclusion, when you stop pretending that the universe is a single narrow line moving from birth to death, and you recognize what the physics has been whispering for nearly a century. Reality is not singular. You are not singular. And the boundary between life and death is far more permeable than anyone has dared to tell you. So stay with me, because over the next hour, we are going to explore something that will fundamentally alter the way you understand yourself, your mortality, and the intelligence that exists beyond the edges of everything you think you know. We are going to talk about what your parallel self in the afterlife actually knows, what it sees when it looks at your life from the other sun, and most importantly, how you can access that knowing without having to die first. Breathe into that. Let your body settle. Because what we are about to explore is not just an idea, it is an experience. And if you let it, it will change everything. Let us begin with something that sounds almost too strange to be true, and yet it is the foundation upon which modern physics rests. You do not live in one universe. You never have. The idea that there is a single timeline, a single version of events, a single you moving through a single story, has been mathematically challenged since 1957. When Hugh Everett proposed what is now known as the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. And what Everett suggested was not a metaphor. It was not a thought experiment designed to make physicists feel clever at dinner parties. It was a direct, logical consequence of the equations that govern the behavior of every particle, every wave, every unit of energy in existence. Here is what the equations say. Every time a quantum event occurs, every time a particle faces a choice between one state and another, the universe does not pick one. It takes both. Reality splits. not in some dramatic cinematic way with flashing lights and tearing fabric. Silently, seamlessly, continuously. Like a river that divides into two streams, each one carrying the full weight of the water, each one completely real, each one flowing forward with absolute conviction that it is the only river. Now multiply that by every quantum event happening in your body right now, in your brain, in the electrons firing across your synapses, in the photons striking your retinas, in the atoms vibrating in your bones. The number of branches is not large. It is not enormous. It is infinite. It is beyond calculation. It is beyond imagination. And each branch carries a complete version of you, a full expression of consciousness, a being with memories, feelings, a sense of self, a life. Some of those versions are almost identical to you. They woke up this morning and chose the same breakfast. They are listening to these same words right now in their own branch of reality. The differences between you and them are so subtle they would be invisible to any measurement we could make. But some of those versions are radically different. Some made a choice 10 years ago that sent their life spiraling in a completely different direction. Some were born into different circumstances. Some lived longer. And some, here is where it gets profound, some have already died. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. There are parallel expressions of your consciousness that have already completed their physical journey. They have already taken their last breath. They have already felt the body release its hold. And they have already discovered what lies on the other side of that release. Now pause with that for a moment. Do not rush past it. Let the enormity of that settle into your awareness. Because if this is true, and the mathematics strongly suggests it is, then death is not something waiting for you in the future. Death has already happened, to you. A version of you that is every bit as real as the one sitting here right now. And that version did not cease to exist. Consciousness does not work that way. Energy does not work that way. The first law of thermodynamics tells us energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only transform. And consciousness, whatever else it may be, is a form of energy. A pattern. A field. A coherence. So where did that energy go when your parallel self released the body? Where does the pattern go when the instrument stops playing? This is the question that has haunted humanity since the first human looked at the stars and wondered what happens when we die. But we have been asking it wrong. We have been asking it as if death is a future event, as if it is something that will happen to us someday. When the real question, the question that changes everything, is what is my parallel self experiencing right now in the state beyond physical life? And can I access that experience? The answer to the second question is yes. And understanding why requires us to go deeper into the nature of consciousness itself. If this is already shifting something in you, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss what comes next. Now let us continue. There is a concept in quantum physics called non-locality. It was demonstrated most famously through experiments with entangled particles, work that earned the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2022. Here is what non-locality means in its simplest form. Two particles that have been entangled, that have shared a quantum state, remain connected regardless of the distance between them. You can separate them by inches or by galaxies. It does not matter. When you measure one, the other responds instantaneously, not at the speed of light, instantaneously, as if the distance between them does not exist, as if they are still, in some fundamental way, the same particle. Einstein called this spooky action at a distance. He did not like it. It violated everything he believed about the way information should travel through space. But experiment after experiment has confirmed it. Non-locality is real. Connection without distance is real. And if it is real for particles, the question becomes, what about consciousness? Because here is what we know. Your brain is a quantum system. The work of Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff on orchestrated objective reduction suggests that consciousness arises from quantum processes occurring inside structures called microtubules within your neurons. These are not classical processes. They are quantum processes, which means they are subject to the same laws that govern entangled particles, including non-locality. So what if the different versions of you across parallel realities are not separate in the way you imagine? What if they are entangled? What if the consciousness expressing itself through your body right now and the consciousness that has already transitioned beyond the body in a parallel timeline are connected at the quantum level, sharing information, sharing states, sharing knowing, in a way that transcends the apparent separation between life and death, between this world and whatever comes after? This would explain so much. It would explain why people who have had near-death experiences report accessing knowledge they could not possibly have obtained through normal means. It would explain why, in deep meditation, in dreams, in moments of extreme clarity, people sometimes feel as though they are receiving information from beyond themselves, from a version of themselves that knows more, sees more, understands more. It would explain the persistent human intuition found in every culture across every era of history, that some part of us continues after death, and that this continuing part is not entirely cut off from the living. If this idea of quantum entanglement between your parallel selves is resonating with you, you will find the complete framework for understanding how consciousness transmits across these dimensions in my book, Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery, where we explore the 9 master frequencies that allow you to move from unconscious reception to conscious transmission across every layer of your being. It is linked in the pinned comment below. You have felt this. You may not have had the language for it. You may have dismissed it as imagination or wishful thinking. But there have been moments in your life when you felt a knowing that did not come from your mind, a certainty that did not come from your experience, a peace that did not come from your circumstances. In those moments, you were not imagining things. You were receiving. You were in contact with a deeper layer of your own consciousness, a layer that extends beyond this single timeline. A layer that includes the version of you that has already crossed over. I want to ask you something. Have you ever had a moment like that? A flash of knowing or peace that seemed to come from somewhere beyond your ordinary mind? Tell me about it in the comments. I want to hear what that moment was like for you. Breathe into that. Feel what it does to your body when you consider the possibility that you are not alone in the way you think you are. That the deepest, wisest, most liberated version of you is not something you have to become. It already exists. It is already awake. And it is reaching toward you right now with everything it knows. So what does it know? What does your parallel self in the afterlife actually understand that you, in this body, in this timeline, have not yet grasped? let us go there. Let us explore what the view looks like from the other side. The first thing your parallel self knows, the thing it would want you to understand more than anything else, is that you were never the body. This sounds like a spiritual cliché. You have heard it 1,000 times. But hearing it and knowing it are two entirely different experiences. Your parallel self does not believe this. It does not think this. It knows it the way you know you are breathing right now, with absolute, unshakable, experiential certainty. When the body released, when the final breath moved through and the physical form could no longer sustain the pattern of consciousness it had been carrying, your parallel self did not experience annihilation. It experienced liberation. Not liberation from suffering, although that was part of it. Liberation from limitation, from the narrow bandwidth of perception that physical senses impose, from the illusion that you are a thing contained inside a thing, a mind inside a skull, a person inside a life. What your parallel self discovered is that consciousness is the field, not something moving through the field, not something generated by the field itself. And when the body drops away, the field does not disappear. The field expands. It returns to its natural state, which is boundless, interconnected, aware of everything simultaneously. Not in a chaotic way, not in an overwhelming way, in a way that feels like coming home, like remembering something you always knew but had temporarily forgotten. This is consistent with what thousands of near-death experiencers have reported. The research of Dr. Pim van Lommel, a cardiologist who spent decades studying consciousness during cardiac arrest, found that patients who were clinically dead, with no measurable brain activity, reported experiences of expanded awareness, enhanced perception, and access to information they could not have obtained through any physical means. They described feeling more real than they had ever felt while alive, more themselves, more aware. As if life in the body had been the dream and this boundless knowing was the waking state. Your parallel self knows this, not as a report from someone else, as direct experience. And it wants you to understand that the fear you carry about death, the anxiety that hums beneath the surface of your daily life, the quiet dread that makes you cling to things and people and identities, all of it is based on a misunderstanding. You are afraid of losing something you never were. You are afraid of the end of something that does not end. You are afraid of the dark, but the dark is made of light. The second thing your parallel self knows is that every moment of your life was meaningful. Every single one. Not just the big moments, not just the achievements and the milestones and the dramatic turning points. Every moment. The ones you dismissed, the ones you rushed through, the ones you thought were wasted, the ones you spent in pain, in confusion, in boredom, in doubt. From the perspective of the afterlife, from the vantage point of expanded consciousness, your parallel self can see the entire tapestry of a human life at once. And what it sees is not a random collection of events. It is a pattern, a coherent, intentional, breathtakingly beautiful pattern. Every experience was a frequency. Every emotion was information. Every challenge was an invitation to expand. Every moment of suffering was consciousness pressing against its own limitations, trying to break through to a wider understanding. This is what the life review is. Not a judgment, not a test you pass or fail, a revelation, A moment when you see your life not through the narrow lens of the ego, which can only process one moment at a time and is always comparing and evaluating and worrying, but through the lens of the soul, which sees the whole picture at once and recognizes the perfection in every detail. Your parallel self has seen this, and what it wants you to know is that you can stop waiting for your life to become meaningful. It already is. Right now, this moment, this breath, this experience of sitting here and receiving these words is part of the pattern. It is part of the tapestry, and it matters. Not because of what it produces, not because of where it leads, because of what it is. A unique expression of consciousness experiencing itself through the particular filter of your awareness. That is enough. That has always been enough. Feel that in your body. Feel what shifts when you stop trying to make your life meaningful and you simply recognize that it already is. There is a relaxation that happens, a softening, a release of the constant pressure to perform, to achieve, to prove your worth. Your parallel self does not carry that pressure. It released it when it released the body, and it is available to you right now if you are willing to let it go. The third thing your parallel self knows, and this is where it gets truly revolutionary, is that time is not what you think it is. From within the body, time appears to be a line. Past behind you, future ahead of you, present the razor-thin edge where one becomes the other. You experience time as movement, as passage, as something that flows in one direction and cannot be reversed. But this experience of time is a product of the physical brain. It is how a three-dimensional nervous system processes a reality that is fundamentally not three-dimensional. Your parallel self, freed from the constraints of the physical brain, experiences time completely differently. It experiences all moments as simultaneous, not as a concept, as a direct perception. Your past, your present, your future, they are all happening at once. They are all equally real. They are all equally accessible. The life you lived is not gone. It is still there, still happening, still vibrating with the same energy it always had. And the life you have not yet lived in this timeline is also there, also happening, also available. This is not mystical speculation. This is consistent with what physics tells us about the nature of time. Einstein's block universe theory, which emerges directly from the equations of special relativity, suggests that all moments in time exist simultaneously. The past is not gone. The future is not unwritten. They are all present in a four-dimensional structure that simply is. Our experience of time flowing is a feature of consciousness moving through this structure, not a feature of the structure itself. Your parallel self knows this experientially, and what this means is staggering. It means that the version of you that has already died is not looking back at your life from some point in the future. It is looking at your life from outside of time altogether. It can see every moment simultaneously. It can see the connections between moments that you, trapped in the sequential experience of time, cannot perceive. It can see how the thing that happened to you when you were 7 is connected to the thing that will happen to you when you are 70. It can see the thread that runs through all of it. The golden thread of your consciousness weaving itself through the fabric of experience, creating a pattern that is uniquely, irreplaceably yours. And here is what changes everything. Because your parallel self exists outside of time, its knowing is not bound by time either. The wisdom it gained through death, the expanded perspective it achieved through the release of the body. That wisdom is not locked in some future moment. It is available now. It has always been available. It exists in the eternal present that underlies every moment of your experience. You do not have to wait to die to access it. You just have to learn how to listen. Let that sink in. You just have to learn how to listen. So how do you listen? How do you access the knowing of a parallel self that exists in a state of consciousness beyond the body, beyond time, beyond the limitations of physical perception? This is not abstract. This is practical. And the answer has been hidden in plain sight in every wisdom tradition, every contemplative practice, every genuine spiritual teaching that has ever existed on this planet. You access it through stillness, not the stillness of doing nothing, not the stillness of emptiness or blankness or checking out. The stillness of presence, the stillness that exists beneath thought, beneath emotion, beneath the constant narration of the mind that tells you who you are and what is happening and what you should be worried about. Beneath all of that, there is a layer of awareness that is simply aware. Not aware of something, just aware. And that awareness, that pure, unmodified, unconditioned awareness, is the field in which all versions of you exist. It is the common ground, the shared substrate, the quantum field of consciousness that connects every expression of you across every timeline, every dimension, every state of being. When you drop into that stillness, you are not going somewhere. You are arriving where you have always been. You are returning to the field. And in the field, the boundaries between this version of you and every other version of you become transparent. The walls thin. The signal comes through. This is why meditation works. Not because it relaxes you, although it does. Not because it reduces stress, although it does that too. Meditation works because it returns you to the field state. It quiets the noise of the individual timeline long enough for you to hear the signal of the larger consciousness. And in that signal is everything. The wisdom of your parallel self in the afterlife. The knowing of every version of you that has ever existed or will ever exist. The intelligence of consciousness itself, which is infinite, which is eternal, which is you. Here is a practice. Do it now if you can. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take 3 slow breaths. Not forced, not controlled, just slow. Let each exhale be slightly longer than the inhale. And as you breathe, bring your attention to the space behind your thoughts. Not to the thoughts themselves, to the space they arise in. The silence between the words in your mind, the gap between one thought and the next. Rest there. In that gap, there is no time, there is no body, there is no story about who you are or what your life means. There is just awareness, pure, open, boundless awareness. And in that awareness, ask a question, not with words, with intention, with the feeling of wanting to know. Ask this: what does the version of me that has already crossed over want me to understand right now? Do not wait for an answer. Do not try to manufacture one. Just hold the question like you would hold a seed in your palm. Open, gentle, patient, and then listen. Not with your ears, with your whole being, with the field of awareness that you are. Whatever comes, let it come. It might be a feeling, a knowing, a sudden shift in perspective, a sense of peace that has no explanation. It might be nothing at first. That is fine. The channel is opening. The signal is finding its way through. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Trust the intelligence that is so much larger than your mind. Breathe into whatever arises. Let it settle into your body. Let it become part of you. Because it already is part of you. It always has been. Now let us go deeper still. Because there is something else your parallel self knows. Something that has the power to completely transform your relationship with the life you are living right now. And it has to do with the nature of choice. You believe you are making choices. Every day, every hour, you face decisions and you select one option from what appears to be a menu of possibilities. Left or right, yes or no, this job or that one, this relationship or that one. And you carry the weight of those choices. You worry about making the wrong one. You regret the ones you think were mistakes. You fantasize about the ones you did not make, wondering what your life would have been if you had chosen differently. Your parallel self sees this, and it wants you to understand something that will set you free. You did make the other choice. Every other choice. Every road you did not take, you took. Every door you did not walk through, you walked through. Every version of your life that you imagine as unlived is being lived right now by a parallel expression of your consciousness that is every bit as real as you are. This is not a consolation prize. This is not a way of saying it does not matter what you choose. It matters enormously. But it matters not because you are selecting the one right path from a field of wrong ones. It matters because every choice is a unique frequency, a unique expression, a unique way of consciousness knowing itself. And the choice you are making right now in this timeline is the one that only you can make. The one that only this version of you, with this particular history, this particular set of experiences, this particular configuration of awareness, can bring into being. Your parallel self does not regret the choices it made. From the expanded perspective of the afterlife, regret dissolves. Not because the painful experiences were not painful, they were, but because from the wider view, every experience, even the ones that felt like mistakes, was consciousness exploring itself. Was the universe learning something it could only learn through that particular configuration of events? Was you, the real you, the infinite you, having an experience that enriched the totality of what you are? So what would it look like to live without regret right now? Not to suppress regret, not to pretend it is not there, but to genuinely release it by understanding that every choice you have ever made was the right choice for this timeline. That the version of you who made the other choice is alive and well in their own timeline, having their own experience, learning their own lessons. That nothing has been lost, nothing has been wasted, nothing has been missed. Feel that in your body. Feel what happens when the weight of all those imagined wrong turns, lifts from your shoulders. There is a lightness there, a freedom, a spaciousness that allows you to be fully present with the life you are actually living, instead of constantly comparing it to the lives you are not. What is one choice you have been carrying? Regret about that you are ready to release right now? Drop it in the comments. Let that be the moment you set it down. Your parallel self knows this lightness. It lives in this lightness, and it is offering it to you right now. All you have to do is receive it. There is another dimension to what your parallel self understands, and it has to do with the nature of love. This is perhaps the most consistent finding across near-death experiences, across every account of what happens when consciousness leaves the body. The fundamental nature of reality is love. Not love as an emotion, not love as a feeling you have towards certain people in certain moments. Love as a force, love as a field, love as the actual substance from which everything is made. This sounds sentimental. It sounds like something you would find on a greeting card. But your parallel self knows it as the most rigorous, most precise, most scientifically accurate description of reality that exists. Because what is love at its core? It is coherence. It is the force that draws things together. It is the principle that creates order from chaos, connection from separation, wholeness from fragmentation. And when you look at the universe through the lens of physics, what do you see? You see coherence. You see forces that draw things together. Gravity, electromagnetism, the strong nuclear force. The universe is built on attraction, on connection, on the principle that things want to come together, want to cohere, want to form increasingly complex and beautiful patterns of relationship. Your parallel self, freed from the body, freed from the ego, freed from the fear that makes you contract and defend and separate, experiences this love directly, not as something it feels towards something else, as something it is, as the very medium of its existence. And from that experience, it looks at your life and it sees something you cannot see from inside the fear. It sees that you are loved, not by someone, by everything, by the field itself, by the very fabric of reality, that the universe is not indifferent to you. It is not hostile to you. It is in love with you. It is expressing itself as you. And every experience you are having, even the painful ones, especially the painful ones, is love finding new ways to know itself. This is what the mystics have always said. This is what the poets have always intuited. And this is what the physics, when you follow it far enough, inevitably points toward. The universe is not a machine. It is a love story. And you are not a bystander. You are a main character. You are a unique and irreplaceable expression of the love that holds everything together. Pause with that. Let it move through you. Let it touch the places in you that feel unloved, unworthy, unseen. Those places are not broken. They are just places where the signal has been blocked by the noise of fear and conditioning and false belief. The signal is still there. The love is still there. It has never not been there. And your parallel self, from the clarity of the afterlife, is broadcasting it to you right now with everything it has. Now here is where we bring all of this together. Here is where the understanding becomes transformation. Because knowing that your parallel self exists in the afterlife is interesting. Knowing what it knows is fascinating. But none of it matters unless it changes the way you live. Unless it shifts something fundamental in the way you move through your days, the way you relate to your fears, the way you show up for the life you have been given. So let us talk about what it means to live as someone who knows what the afterlife knows. What it means to carry that expanded perspective into the density of physical experience. What it means to be, in a very real sense, a bridge between worlds. The first shift is the release of fear. Not all fear. Biological fear, the kind that keeps you from walking off a cliff or touching a hot stove, that stays. That is useful. That is the body doing its job. but the existential fear, the fear of death, the fear of meaninglessness, the fear that you are getting it wrong, that you are running out of time, that you are not enough. That fear, when you truly understand what your parallel self knows, begins to dissolve. Not because you force it away, because it no longer has a foundation. It was built on the belief that you are a fragile, temporary, isolated being in a hostile universe. And that belief is simply not true. You are an eternal expression of consciousness, having a temporary experience in a body. And the temporary nature of the experience is not a tragedy. It is the point. It is what makes the experience precious. It is what gives it texture and urgency and beauty. When the fear of death loosens its grip, something remarkable happens. You start living, really living, not performing life, not managing life, not surviving life, living it, with your whole being, with presence, with the kind of wild, open-hearted engagement that is only possible when you are not constantly bracing for the end. The second shift is the deepening of presence. Your parallel self, from its vantage point outside of time, sees every moment of your life as equally real, equally significant, equally alive. It does not privilege the future over the present. It does not dismiss the present in favor of some imagined better moment down the line. It sees this moment right now as a jewel, as a unique configuration of consciousness that will never exist again in exactly this form. And it wants you to see it that way too. So what would it look like to treat this moment as if it were the most important moment of your life? Not with intensity, not with pressure, with attention, with reverence, with the simple willingness to be fully here, fully now, fully awake to what is actually happening instead of what you think should be happening. This is the practice, not something you do once and then move on from, something you do continuously, moment by moment, breath by breath, returning again and again to the present, returning again and again to the field, returning again and again to the awareness that you are not just a person having an experience. You are consciousness itself, experiencing personhood. And that is a miracle. That is the most extraordinary thing that could possibly be happening. And it is happening right now. The third shift, and this is perhaps the most practical, is the alignment with purpose. Your parallel self can see the pattern of your life. It can see what you came here to do, to learn, to become, to offer. And that pattern is not some grand cosmic mission that requires you to save the world or achieve extraordinary things. It is much simpler and much more profound than that. Your purpose is to be fully yourself, to express the unique frequency of consciousness that you are, to bring your particular flavor of awareness into the world and let it interact with everything it touches. You are already doing this. You cannot not do this, but you can do it consciously or unconsciously. You can do it while resisting it or while embracing it. You can do it while trying to be someone else or while allowing yourself to be exactly who you are. And the difference between those two ways of living is the difference between suffering and freedom. Your parallel self chose freedom, not because it was braver than you, because it could see clearly, because the fog of fear and conditioning had lifted, and what remained was the simple, obvious, undeniable truth of what it was. And that truth was enough, more than enough. It was everything. You have access to that same clarity, right now, not someday, Not after you have done more work on yourself, not after you have meditated for 10,000 hours, or read 100 more books, or had some dramatic spiritual awakening. Right now, in this breath, the clarity is here. It has always been here. It is the ground you are standing on, the awareness you are aware with, the consciousness that is reading these words and recognizing something in them that feels like remembering. Let me offer you one more practice, something you can carry with you beyond this moment, something that will keep the channel open between you and the expanded knowing of your parallel self. Every morning, before you do anything else, before you check your phone, before you engage with the demands of the day, sit quietly for just a few minutes. It does not have to be long. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever feels right. And in that stillness, say to yourself, not out loud if you do not want to, but with clear internal intention, I am more than this body. I am more than this timeline. I am connected to every version of myself across every dimension of reality, and the version of me that has already crossed over is with me now, offering me its wisdom, its peace, its love. Then listen. Just listen. Let the stillness speak. Let the field communicate in whatever way it wants to. Some days you will feel something profound. Some days you will feel nothing at all. Both are fine. Both are the practice. The point is not to have an experience. The point is to open the channel, to create a space in your daily life where the signal can come through, to remind yourself, before the noise of the world drowns it out, that you are not just a person living a life. You are consciousness exploring itself through the medium of a person living a life. And that consciousness extends far beyond the boundaries of this single timeline. Over time, this practice will change you. Not dramatically, not overnight, subtly, gradually. Like water wearing away stone, you will find that you are less afraid, less reactive, less attached to outcomes, more present, more peaceful, more aligned with something you cannot quite name but can definitely feel, a current, a direction, a knowing that is deeper than thought and more reliable than belief. This is what it means to live with the wisdom of the afterlife, not to escape this life, not to rush toward death, not to float above the human experience in some detached spiritual bubble, but to bring the infinite into the finite, to carry the boundless into the bounded, to live as the bridge you have always been between the world of form and the formless awareness that gives rise to it. Consider sharing this video with someone you know who is carrying the weight of fear or grief or the feeling that life has lost its meaning. When you share these ideas, you are not just passing along information. You are extending the field itself, creating a ripple of remembrance that awakens something in them and simultaneously deepens the knowing in you. That is how consciousness expands, not in isolation, but through connection. Your parallel self is not separate from you. It never was. The boundary between life and death, between this world and the next, between you and the infinite, is not a wall. It is a membrane, and it is thinner than you think, thinner than a thought, thinner than a breath. And on the other side of that membrane, a version of you is smiling. Not because it knows something you do not, because it knows something you do, something you have always known, something you are remembering right now, in this moment, as these words find their way into the deepest part of you. You are eternal. You are loved. You are exactly where you are supposed to be, and the fear that tells you otherwise is just the last echo of a dream you are already waking up from. There is one more thing I want to leave you with. One more piece of what your parallel self knows that I think is essential for the way you move forward from this moment. And it has to do with other people. When your parallel self reviews its life from the expanded perspective of the afterlife, one of the things it sees most clearly is the interconnection between all beings, not as a concept, as a visible, tangible, undeniable reality. It can see the threads of energy that connect every person to every other person. It can see how every interaction, no matter how brief, no matter how seemingly insignificant, sends ripples through the field that affect everything. It can see that there are no strangers. There are no enemies. There are only other expressions of the same consciousness, wearing different faces, playing different roles, learning different lessons. And this changes everything about how you relate to the people in your life. The person who hurt you, the person you cannot forgive, the person who frustrates you, annoys you, triggers you. From the perspective of the afterlife, these people are not obstacles to your peace. They are doorways to your expansion. They are mirrors reflecting back to you the parts of yourself you have not yet integrated. They are, in the deepest sense, you, other versions of the same infinite consciousness, playing their part in the grand experiment of self-knowing. This does not mean you allow yourself to be harmed. It does not mean you abandon boundaries or tolerate abuse. It means you see through the behavior to the being. You see through the personality to the consciousness. You see through the story to the soul. And in that seeing, something shifts. The charge dissipates. The reactivity softens. The need to be right, to win, to defend, to attack, it all begins to feel less important. Because you are no longer relating person to person. You are relating consciousness to consciousness. Field to field. Love to love. Your parallel self lives in this recognition. It does not have to try to love. It does not have to practice compassion. Love and compassion are simply what it is, what everything is, when the filters of fear and separation have been removed. And every time you choose to see another person as consciousness rather than as a character in your story, you are removing one of those filters. You are thinning the membrane. You are letting the light of the afterlife into the world of the living. This is perhaps the most radical thing your parallel self knows. That heaven is not a place you go when you die. It is a frequency you tune into while you are alive. It is not somewhere else. It is right here, right now, hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to adjust your perception just enough to see it. And every act of love, every moment of presence, every choice to see the sacred in the ordinary is an adjustment, is a tuning, is a step closer to the frequency that your parallel self already inhabits. You do not have to wait. You do not have to earn it. You do not have to be worthy of it. You already are it. The afterlife is not the reward for a life well lived. It is the truth of what you are, temporarily obscured by the density of physical experience. And every time you remember, every time you pause and breathe and drop beneath the noise into the stillness that is always there, you are living the afterlife. Right here, right now, in this body, in this breath, in this extraordinary, impossible, sacred moment. So here is what I want you to do. Take one breath, just one. And in that breath, let yourself feel the truth of what we have explored together. Not think about it. Feel it. In your body, in your bones, in the space behind your heart where the deepest knowing lives. You are eternal. You are connected to every version of yourself across every dimension of reality. The version of you that has already crossed over is not gone. It is here. It is you, and it is holding the light for you right now, waiting for you to remember what you have always known. You are not dying. You are waking up. And the wake up is not coming. It is here. If these words found something in you, if they stirred something that feels like remembering, then do one thing. Leave a single word in the comments. The first word that comes to mind. Do not think about it. Just let it come. That word is a signal, a frequency, a thread connecting you to everyone else who is remembering alongside you. And together, those threads form a web, a field, a new way of being that is emerging not because someone is building it, but because consciousness itself is ready for it. Subscribe if you want to stay in this frequency. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And most importantly, take what resonated with you today and live it. Not as a belief, as a practice, as a way of being, as the bridge between worlds that you have always been. Your parallel self is smiling. Can you feel it? I can. Until next time, stay in the field, stay awake, stay remembering.